So you're at that point like, I am tired of people just talking about positive thinking, positive thinking. You gotta have a positive outlook. Well, let's talk about why it's so important to have positive mindset and why you need to use it for things that might be challenging, whether you have a difficulty time focusing on things, or you get distracted all the time, or you might think you might have ADHD, or you might be anxious all the time and you just feel very gloomy and really kind of depressed about life. So let's talk about why it is really important and what it can do for you when it comes to positive thinking. So let's talk about that right after this intro. How you doing, my optimal mind? Let's talk about positive thinking. And I want you to kind of look at this from I'm going to talk about from my perspective of how I've used it for myself, because I have ADHD and dyslexia. It was really challenging to have to go through school because I did have learning disabilities, and going through college, medical school, it wasn't easy. Even before college, it was definitely not easy. And I had to really rely on positive thinking. Now, before I get started, if you are someone that actually does have ADHD and you really are trying to look for things that can be helpful to you and are looking for more of a natural way of approaching it, I do have a free download guide in the description below that basically goes over all the labs that you should be running if you have ADHD, also what nutrients and supplements you should be implementing, as well as what foods to implement. And that's in the description below for adults who have ADHD, or if you're a parent who has a kid with ADHD, that is also there as well. So going back to positive thinking, it was something that I had to really rely on for myself growing up with ADHD and dyslexia. It was really a challenge for me, especially in the academic world, because I couldn't pay attention. And even as much as I tried, it would be very difficult. And my mind worked a little slow. It took me time to figure out things. It took me time to be able to adjust, especially having dyslexia, having that reading comprehension difficulty and being delayed in my reading skills and writing skills and stuff like that. It became a challenge. And when I was young, it was depressing sometimes. It definitely was. But I remember, my dad, grateful for him, and my mom, both really, really, had me think in that mindset of more of a positive way of looking at things and have that positive thinking. They had me read books. They had me read stories of people that had also challenges just like me, who had dyslexia or ADHD or any kind of learning disability. And that really gave me hope. And I know a lot of people think, don't give wishful hope, which it isn't wishful hope if somebody's actually been able to accomplish it. If there's someone like you that's been able to accomplish it, that is not wishful hopeful thinking. It's just not. And if you think more of the negative way, the opposite of positive thinking, where is that going to get you? Nowhere. In fact, it's going to make it worse. So you have no other choice than actually try to implement positive thinking. And going more in depth about the positive thinking. So when I started implementing and reading more books, I would listen to tapes on motivational tapes to have that positive thinking mindset. The blocker is the mindset. I don't care what your challenge is, whether it's ADHD or extreme ADHD, because there's different variances of ADHD, or you have a hard time focusing, or you're distracted. You might not have ADHD, but you have something else, or you are anxious all the time or depressed. Whatever it might be, whatever your challenge is, the mental challenge, I don't care. There is ways to always improve on yourself, no matter what. And, yes, people have bigger challenges than others, but that should still not stop them to think that they could still use positive thinking. And for me, just going back for me, if I did not use positive thinking, I know I would not be where I am at today. There's no way, if I looked at the more the negative way, I would have never even gotten to college at all. If I did not use positive thinking at all and read things that motivated me and using tactics and strategies to help improve my mindset, there's no way I would have gone to college, and certainly would have never gone through medical school at all. So I get it that my challenges are probably very different than your challenges. Yours might be far greater than mine. But besides the point, there is somebody who has been through the same thing as you have, and has actually been able to succeed through it. You just have to keep on working on yourself and keep improving those factors, even if you keep on hitting trials and constantly failing and failing. I did certainly. I failed so many tests throughout my years in school, in college, and it was never exactly all of a sudden magically I became this brain maniac and, was able to just learn everything so quickly. No, it definitely came with its challenges, but if it wasn't for continuing with my mindset, with positive thinking and listening to things and reading things and talking to people, having a mentor to be able to guide me and, to help me think more of a positive way versus a negative way and being pessimistic instead of being pessimistic. If I didn't have that, there is no way I would be able to get through those accomplishments that I have. And that's how you need to see it, that you need to always try to work on your mindset and how you look at the world. And, it can be really gloomy, especially with challenges, especially with mental health challenges or any kind of challenge that people might have that is chronic. But it shouldn't stop you to try to seek out ways to improve upon it and to become a better person. We always should be seeking out to become a better person. So I hope this message really hit you home, to realize that you need to still consider positive thinking as a very important thing in your life, and try to not look at it as a negative term, because a lot of people use this negative term because, yeah, sure, a motivated speaker, gets up and gets you really motivated, and then the next day you don't do anything about it, or you just feel back the same. And that's where the negative tonality comes from, when people really give motivational speakers a bad rep sometimes, but it has nothing to really do with them. It's more to do with you. You didn't apply it. If you don't apply things, you can't expect to get results. You can listen to all the tapes, you can listen to all the motivational speakers and read all the books and feel good for a little bit and get really motivated. It's yeah, but if you don't apply any of it and continue to apply it and self-discipline yourself to do so for long periods of time, don't expect to get any results if you're not going to implement it. You have to do that. You have to put in the work. I know that's what I had to do. Anytime I read anything or want self-improvement, I know if I want an actual result, I have to actually apply it and continue trying. And don't expect it's all of a sudden you're going to be able to implement that application of what book you read or listened to. It's going to be perfect the first time. No. It's going to be through trial and error, and you'll figure it out. And that's what's important about having mistakes or messing up. You learn from that. That process is so important of learning, and that's why having a challenge, you can grow so significantly with that, because you're going to have lots of challenges, but you learn so much about yourself, more so than someone who doesn't have a challenge. Do you get that? Because you're learning more about yourself that you would have never have. But for somebody who doesn't have really any challenges, their self-growth is kind of more lacking. It's important to have challenges. It stinks at times, I know, for myself, but it is important. So again, I hope this really, really helped you. And if you are somebody that does have ADHD and are looking for further guidance, I do have a free download guide in the description below. Basically goes over the labs you should be running, what supplements and nutrients and foods that you should be implementing if you have ADHD, as well as if you're a parent that has a kid with ADHD, that is in the description below as well. So this is Dr. Legrand signing out, and remember, you have an optimal mind. Thanks. Bye.